Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa-chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadguru. The 13th chapter. 12th verse. We were doing that. We saw it last time. Let's chant it once more. Geyam yattat pravakshyami, Geyam yattat pravakshyami, Yajñātvā amritam Yajñātvā Anadimat param brahma, Anadimat param brahma, Nasadna saduchyate, Nasanna saduchyate. I shall tell you that which has to be known, knowing which one attains immortality. It is the beginningless, supreme Brahman, which is said to be neither being nor non-being. So, 13th chapter began with Arjuna asking 6 questions. Basically the same set of questions repeated thrice. What did he ask? What was the Prakriting Purushang chaiva? So, Kshetrang kshetragyam etad veditum ichchami jnanam geyam cha keshava. Arjuna asks Krishna, "Oh Krishna, I want to know these things. The field and the field knower. Kshetra kshetragya. Prakriti and Purusha, consciousness and matter, or nature. And Jnanam and Geyam, what is knowledge and what is to be known, the knowable, the thing, what is the ultimate reality to be known." Basically, he's asking the same thing, you see, the knower of the field and the field. And then again he asks Prakriti and Purusha, consciousness and material nature. It's the same thing. Consciousness is the knower of the field, consciousness, and Purusha and Kshetragya, same thing. Prakriti and Kshetra, same thing. And in a sort of variation, Jnanam Geyam. Geyam means the ultimate reality, what is to be known, and Jnanam is what is knowledge. And Krishna has already answered 4 of these questions. 3 of these questions. One is, what is Kshetragya, the knower of the field? And what is Kshetra, the field? It was an amazing analysis in the beginning, the body is the field and you are the knower of the field. And we saw what astounding depths the analysis took us to. That second verse where he says, "I am the knower of the field in all fields." That means I am the one consciousness in all bodies. And I means that's you. So the highest teaching of non-duality. And then there were a couple of verses in brief about the field. What is the field? Body, matter, the entire universe, everything is the field. The physical universe is the field, what we may call the physical or the gross universe, or in Sanskrit, sthula. The subtle universe. What's the subtle universe? Our own inner world of thoughts, ideas, feelings, prana, the subtle body, all of these. This is also part of the field. And the causal seed of the subtle universe and the physical universe, you call it Maya or Abhyakta, the unmanifest. So all field, all kshetra. So that was taught in about 2 verses. Then he switched on to a very important subject. How do we, instead of talking about what is knowledge, Krishna taught what are the practices which lead to knowledge, and 20 practices which lead to enlightenment. He talked about that. Now, 2 questions. Now the third question. 3 questions have been answered. Kshetra, the field, Kshetragya, knower of the field, then Jnanam, knowledge. 3 questions. Now the 4th question has to be answered. What is that which is to be known? And Krishna says here that I will tell you that which has to be known, and that is Brahman. Brahman has to be known. What is this Brahman? the ultimate reality of this universe. That's the quest of science. That's the quest of, in the most fundamental science, in physics, for example. What's the reality? What is this universe at its most fundamental level? There is matter and energy. And as we investigate, science reveals to us more and more. All of this, the periodic table, we find the whole of the physical universe is made of these elements. And those elements also, if you go further down, they're all atomic, they're all subatomic particles, atoms. And then you go further down, you get subatomic particles, protons, neutrons, electrons. And you go further down, there is a whole, what a physicist called a zoo of particles. Such a variety of quarks. I don't know, up quark, down quark, strange quark, and there's all these names. One physicist said, if I had known this is what we are going to discover, you have to classify these subatomic particles, I would have become a biologist, learn classification. Instead of one reality, you find a bewildering variety. And then what's next? Even that's not the end of the road. We're still trying to complete the picture of the universe, and there's no one underlying reality as yet. Although people are talking about superstrings, but that's still matter of investigation. Right here, we have maybe the world's leading institute of fundamental research, the Institute of Advanced Studies in Princeton University, where Einstein worked, Gödel worked, von Neumann, Oppenheimer. He was the director, it seems, for nearly 20 years there. So a scientist from this institute, the Institute of Advanced Studies, Princeton, most remarkable character. He's going to come and give us a talk in a couple of months' time. We'll announce it. He is somebody who, as a child in Rotterdam, many decades ago, read the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. He was fascinated by it ever since. So he's going to talk about the final picture, the latest picture, the cutting-edge picture which science reveals to us about this universe at its most fundamental level. Vedanta goes further. You see, the way physics is investigating the ultimate stuff of this universe, and that's just the physical universe. Physics is not saying anything about the subtle universe. Subtle universe is nothing occult or nothing speculative or mysterious. It's something that we are all experiencing right now in the form of our own thoughts, feelings, emotions, ideas, our own inner life, the first person life which we are having. Physics doesn't have anything to say about that. You have to accept a kind of materialist reductionism in order to integrate the world of our thoughts and feelings and emotions into the world view put forth by modern science. Somehow it has to be reduced to matter. Otherwise, science has nothing to say. There's no traction on the problem also. And let alone the causal universe, which Vedanta speaks about. There is no sign of that at all in modern scientific investigation. Anyway, now the way science talks about it, this philosopher Galen Strawson called it the hard problem of matter, sort of tongue-in-cheek, playing on the hard problem of consciousness. He calls it the hard problem of matter, saying that as we investigate matter more and more, it seems to be that matter is disappearing before our very eyes. As the universe is becoming more and more mysterious. What Vedanta says is, the ultimate reality, what is all this, is actually pretty simple and straightforward. Vedanta says it is existence. Vedanta treats existence as the reality. That is not a category thought of or understood in most, not at all in science, but also in most systems of philosophy also. At one time, the ancient Greeks took it seriously, and recently, I think it's only Heidegger who has thought about it. But existence itself, the German philosopher Heidegger, he says this question of what is existence is the widest, deepest, and most profound question that can ever be asked. I mentioned this earlier. I love this analysis. Vedantins would love it. Widest, why? It is the one question which encompasses all branches of knowledge. Suppose I want to know something about the body. So that's a question for physiology. Suppose I want to know something about suppose I want to know something about the structures, about life itself, not just this human body, but all kinds of living beings. So that's a question for biology. But it doesn't cover, for example, mathematics, or doesn't cover Sanskrit grammar, or so many areas of knowledge which are not covered by that question. If you go even further, it might be a question even deeper, question for chemistry, a question for physics, a wider and wider. Physics is something which asks about all matter and energy, all space and time. But it doesn't ask about, the world of fiction. It doesn't ask about literature or Sanskrit grammar or whatever it is. But what is the one question which will cover everything? All fields of study. If you ask, what is existence? What is isness? What is reality itself? A smart aleck at this point might point out that, what about non-existent things? That is not covered by your question, what is existence? What about non-existent things? And the answer will be, the non-existent things don't exist, so there's no problem, even if they're not covered. I was looking at this book on philosophy, and it starts off with this question: what exists? And the answer: everything. Everything that is real exists. So everything is covered by this question: what is existence? So it's the widest question possible. But it's also the deepest question possible. Suppose you go back to that example of physiology. Physiology, look at the human body or a living body. But wider than that, a deeper question than physiology would be a question about biology. Not just the living body, but life itself. You look at it at the cellular level maybe. A deeper question than biology would be, a deeper field of study would be chemistry. Deeper in what sense? In a more fundamental reality. More, if you go down, what does biology deal with? The matter it deals with is living matter. And what is that living matter? It's composed of various kinds of chemicals, organic, even inorganic, all of that kind of chemicals. So chemistry. But you can go even deeper. You can probe deeper. What is that? What are those chemicals? What are those elements? They are atoms, molecules and atoms. So you go into physics. So physics is a more fundamental science than chemistry, which is a more fundamental science than biology, in one sense. Deeper. In that sense, you're going to a more granular level of reality. Then what is the deepest possible question? What is existence itself? Which covers all of physics and chemistry and living and non-living, anything, space and time, existence. Even empty space exists. Of course it does. That's what gives space for all stars and planets to do their thing. So, the deepest question is, what is existence? The widest question is, what is existence? And Heidegger also says the most profound question is, what is existence? Because it is self-reflective. Self-reflective means what is existence is also an existing thing. It's a question. It has an existence of its own. A question also exists. So it's a question, when you say what is existence, it's reflecting back upon the question. Question is reflecting back upon itself also. It's included in the field of its own investigation. Anyway, the Vedantins took it very seriously. The Vedantins said ultimate reality is Sat, is being itself, existence itself. And that alone appears to us as this universe. Now, in this, that being, that Sat, existence, that is called Brahman. In Vedanta, it is called Brahman. Brahman is the ultimate reality. And the word Brahman does not mean a kind of god or a deity. Its real meaning in the Upanishads is existence, being itself. Swami Vivekananda said, not that it exists, it is existence itself. Not that it knows, it is consciousness or knowledge itself. Not that it is happy, it is happiness itself. Brahman is defined as Sat, Chit, Ananda. It's the most fundamental reality. It's the answer to our most fundamental questions. I was reflecting just maybe 1 or 2 years ago, it struck me. The simplest of insights. It's been staring at me all this while. I've been reading Vedanta for 38, 40 years now. Sat, Chit, Ananda, that's the definition of Brahman. Sat means being, existence. Chit means consciousness. And Ananda means bliss. But in philosophy, the most fundamental questions, what is real? And the study of reality, it's called metaphysics, or a more fancy word today is ontology, study of being, ontos. Second, in philosophy, the second great question you ask is, how do you know anything? The moment you talk about what is real, is the world real? Is God real? Is the mind real? Are objects real? If you ask these questions and you try to give answers, immediately the question will come up. Whatever answer we try to give, the question is bound to come up. How do you know? So the question of knowledge, how is knowledge possible? What is knowledge and how is knowledge possible? That's the second branch of philosophy. And to answer this question, there's the second branch of philosophy which is called epistemology, the study of knowledge. And finally, one more branch of philosophy is, what's the point of it all? What's the meaning of life? What's good? What's beautiful? What's valuable? What gives us fulfillment or happiness? All of these together, you can put them as a study of values, ethics, aesthetics. So this is one branch of philosophy which is called, now there is a less used term, it's called axiology, the study of values. All of these three, if you take them together, that's philosophy. The most fundamental questions we can ask in life. Most fundamental investigations that human beings have ever done or can do. They've been doing from the most ancient times till today. What is reality? Ultimate reality. How do you know anything? What counts as knowledge? How is knowledge possible? And how do you know anything at all? And third, what's the point of it all? What's the meaning of it all? What's the value of it all? What is good and what is bad? All these things. And so we have three branches: ontology, epistemology, axiology. Now look at the Vedanta's answer to these three questions. Ontology, what is real? Sat, being itself. How is knowledge possible? How is any kind of experience possible? Chit, consciousness. And what's the point of it all? Ananda, bliss, fulfillment. Sat, Chit, Ananda. And Vedanta makes this grand claim that such a thing exists. The nature of ultimate reality is Sat, being itself, is Chit, consciousness itself, is Ananda, bliss or fulfillment itself. And then Vedanta goes one step forward further to make the ultimate claim that this Sat, Chit, Ananda not only is real, it exists, we call it Brahman, but it's you. In the Chandogya Upanishad, Shvetaketu's father says to him, talks about Sat. Before all this universe existed, it was in the form of being itself. Then it manifested as this universe, of all that we see. So pure being, existence itself is the reality of this entire universe. And then he says to the student, which is his son, Shvetaketu, this pure being, Sat, it sounds very abstract. What is it? He says, Tat Tvamasi Shvetaketu. You are that. The ultimate claim that this Brahman is you. Not just Shvetaketu, you or I, any one of us, all of us. Not put together. You by yourself. You are that Brahman. There is no division, there is no whole or part relationship here. You can say you are the whole of it, but then there is no whole or part relation at all. So you are that ultimate reality. This is the extraordinary, stunning claim of Vedanta. I can't think of any other more stunning claim that has been made. You are the ultimate reality of this universe. You are that by which all consciousness, all experience, all knowledge is possible. And you are what you are seeking as fulfillment, as the goal of happiness, of fulfillment, bliss. You are it. But the real you. When I say you are it, we tend to look back, who me? Is he talking about me? Not me. I am not that what you're talking about. I'm not the guy you're looking for. No, you are, but you have to investigate. That's what Vedanta wants to. It's not obvious. That's why you have Vedanta. It has to be pointed out. It has to be taught. It has to be learnt and seen for oneself. One must see for oneself. Okay. Now that Brahman, it says, na sat na asaduchyate. It is not an existing thing, nor is it non-existent. It is not the manifest universe, nor is it the unmanifest Maya. That means it's not something that is known, that is within the realm of knowledge, or not even something that is the source of all of this Maya from which this entire universe has come. Meaning thereby there is only one thing, which is other than the known, other than the unknown. What is that? You, the knower. What is other than the known and what other than the unknown? If I say what is other than the known, you will say unknown. But what is other than the unknown and other than the known? Both. Only one thing is possible. You, the knower. So Brahman is you. Now, after this amazing opening, from this 12th verse onwards up to the 18th verse, or in some editions of the Gita, when the question of Arjuna is included, in this book, the question was not included, I think, in my book. So, either the 12th or the 13th verse. So from the 12th verse till the 18th verse, Krishna will answer the question, Geyam, what is to be known? He has started answering. And what will he talk about? He'll talk about the ultimate reality. Brahman, Sat, being, consciousness, bliss, Satchidananda, our real nature. He'll talk about this most grand of all themes. Brahman, the ultimate reality itself. Are you feeling warm? Do you want the fan to be put on? No? No? You don't want it? Okay. No, I don't want it. But I thought people are feeling a little, because they all... I don't want to put you to sleep. We have very deep things to talk about now. Next verse. Sarvataḥ pāṇi-pādaṁ tat, sarvataḥ pāṇi-pādaṁ tat, sarvato kṣhi-śhiro-mukham, sarvato kṣhi-śhiro-mukham, sarvata śhrutimal loke, sarvata śhrutimal loke, sarvam āvṛitya tiṣhṭhati, sarvam āvṛitya tiṣhṭhati. With hands and feet everywhere, with eyes, heads and faces everywhere, with ears everywhere, it rests pervading everything in this world. So, what is he saying here? Shankaracharya, in introducing this verse, he says, when we are told Brahman is na sat na asaduchyate, it's not an existing thing, not one of the things which exists. It's not an entity which exists. If you take an inventory of all the things in the universe, will you find Brahman or not? No. It's not an existing thing which exists. And also it was said that it's other than the non-existent. But a question might arise, Shankaracharya says, if it's not an existing thing which exists, then maybe it doesn't exist. Also, if you say that, no, but we told you, it's other than the existing and other than the non-existing. It is the self itself, pure being or pure consciousness. But if it is pure being or pure consciousness, if I understand you correctly, O Vedantin, O non-dualist, if I understand you correctly, then it doesn't seem to be something that is knowable. You will yourself tell me, it's not something that can be seen or heard or smelt or tasted or touched. It's not something that can be spoken about. Even language cannot express it. Even thoughts cannot encompass it. In that case, it is not something knowable. You might say it's unknown, it's not unknown, but it's not knowable. In that case, why call it knowable? After all, what was Arjuna's question? Geyam, what is to be known? The way you have put this ultimate reality, it seems quite clear that it's not something to be known. At least not in the ordinary sense we understand knowledge. Does it exist at all? If you use words like it is pure being, it is reality itself, it's existence itself, sounds kind of like playing with words. And you follow it further by saying it's not a thing which exists. It sounds like it is something very, very vague, abstract. So does it exist at all? It's something tangible. And why call it knowable when in fact it's not knowable? Geyam, the question was, what is knowable? What is the thing to be known? But it's not a thing to be known. The ultimate reality is not a thing to be known. Krishna answers with a hammer blow, with a thunderous reply. He said, yes, it exists, and yes, it can be known. Don't get confused. It certainly does exist, and it can be known. Where? How? Where does it exist? Here, and everywhere. When does it exist? Now, and every when, all the time. In which is the thing that it is? What you just said it's not a thing. It's everything. And then the answer he gives, here it is. Look upon it. It has hands and feet everywhere, with faces everywhere, with heads and eyes and mouths and ears, and everywhere it surrounds you. Where? Here. Don't you see all these faces? Don't you see all these hands and feet? Don't you see all these eyes and ears? With the millions and billions of bodies and minds and faces and eyes and acting in so many tremendously different ways, interacting with each other, here in front of you, all the time, above you and below you and behind you and in your sides, everywhere it is present. Swami Ashokanji used to say that where will I see God? Foolish question, where will you not see God? Sahasra shirasha purusha, sahasra aksha sahasrapat. Purusha Suktam in the Vedas. In the Vedas itself it said, this is the God with 1,000 faces and 1,000 heads and 1,000 hands and 1,000 bodies. Here itself. Very clearly present, very clearly tangible, very clearly experienceable. What does it mean? These are just people. They are not pure being or pure consciousness or pure bliss. Many of them are not even slightly, remotely blissful. Then how can you say they are all pure bliss? How is this an experience of Brahman? You're just pointing to the world. Didn't the earlier verses just say it's not the world? It's not anything that is existing, but these are existing things. There are bodies, there are people, animals, there are living and non-living things. You're pointing to them and saying, here is Brahman. Aren't you just calling the world Brahman? This is the problem with pantheism. Pantheism is everything is God. If you say everything is God, there will be many questions. It's a kind of cool thing to say, ever since Spinoza. But there will be many problems. The problems, for example, the most straightforward problem is, aren't you just giving it a new name? What I call the world, you're just changing the name and calling it God. What difference does it make? A table is still a table, a man is still a man, the troublemaker is still a troublemaker. There is happiness, unhappiness, sin, misery, cruelty. And just if you call it all God, what difference does it make? And there will be many other problems also. In that case, there's a miserable God. It's a sinful God. It's a God who dies. What's the point of it? So, not in that sense. So, what is the sense in which Krishna is saying here? There's 1,000 heads and 1,000 eyes and 1,000 arms. Here, you look around you. Here you see. It is this. How Vedanta looks upon this world. Vedanta says, notice that everything, though this world is full of things which come into being, which are born, which die, which interact with each other, which are big and small, good and bad, miserable and happy, rich and poor, learned and ignorant, this vast world of diversity, what we call samsara. But notice there's something right here, which is common to it all, which is there in everything that we experience. What is that? Going back to what we talked about, existence. Existence, being itself. What do you mean? Well, look at this book. What do we say? The book exists. The book is existing. The table is existing. The man is existing. The woman is existing. The book is, the table is, the man is, the woman is. Vedanta says, take this is seriously. We don't take it seriously. We say it's just a part of language. What is important is the book, the table, the man, the woman. Vedanta says, no. What is important is the is. Yeah. And Vedanta says, look upon this universe right now, which you are inhabiting. Look upon it as an ocean of is. Not ocean of water, ocean of is. Ocean of isness, ocean of existence. Vedanta says, so just like in an ocean, you have water. You have waves, thousands of waves and bubbles and foam and surf. But it's all water, water, water. Just the names and forms are different. Here is a wave, here is foam, here is a bubble. The names, the forms are also different. Some are big waves, small waves and so on. But it's all water. Now if you look closely, would it make sense to say that the waves have water or water is appearing as the waves? It's not that there are things called waves which have been pumped full of water. A big wave is the one which has, we have poured more water into it, it has become a big wave. You have poured less water into it, it has become a small wave. Not at all. It's water which appears as waves. So water is appearing as waves, as bubbles, as foam, as surf. Exactly like that. Vedanta wants us to think of the universe in that way. Think of existence, isness, appearing as this universe. What is this universe? Name, form and activity. The Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says, Nama, Rupa, Karma. Name, form and activity, name, form and function. Nama, Rupa, Vyavahara. And what is the reality of them? What is the water of this universe? It is existence. Instead of saying, Vedanta says, instead of saying, book is existing, table is existing, man is existing, woman is existing, say existence books, existence tables, existence man, existence woman. Existence is the reality which appears with the name and form as book, an activity as book, name and form and activity as table, name and form and activity as man, woman, whatever you see, big and small, entire universe is existence, existence, existence. With a variety of names and forms. Now, it is the names and forms which are different. Names, forms and functions which are different. Existence is common to it. Everywhere it's the same. It is the names and forms which keep changing. It is the names and forms which create distinctions and differences between us. Existence is always the same, one, unchanging, undivided. Existence never comes into being, existence never goes out. It's crazy to say it if you put it that way. Existence coming into existence, existence going out of existence. No, it is the names and forms which come into existence and names and forms which lose existence. Coming into existence is what we call birth, creation. Losing existence is what we call death, destruction. But existence itself, like the water in the ocean, it comes up as a wave. The wave subsides. The water doesn't subside. The wave disappears. Water doesn't disappear. The water remains the same. Similarly, existence remains the same. Existence is immortal. The little wave example which I love, I've mentioned it a number of times. In an ocean out there in the Atlantic maybe, a little wave is born. And so it sees other little waves around it and is quickly sent to wave school where it studies with a cohort of other neighboring waves. And very soon it has wave problems. Some of those waves are friendly to it. Some there it's friend waves. Some of those waves are mean to it. So there were, and it's of course got a mom wave and a dad wave and a teacher wave. And it sees some of those waves are big and powerful and so much water in them, so huge. And he says, he thinks that, wow, I'm never going to be anything like that. They're so big. And some of those waves are smaller than it and thinks, what losers they are. And so its wavy life goes on until it sees in the distance. There's a great tumult going on. And it asks the waves, what's happening out there? Oh, that's called Long Island. What's Long Island? That's where waves go to die. What? Yes. The waves go and crash into Long Island and then they die. Die. That means I'm going to die? Yes. And my friends are going to die? Yes. All of us going to die? Yes. That's the way it is. That's life. And it's coming up fast. Oh my God. Now the fear of death has come into the wave. Now, along comes a Vedantic wave next to it. And says, there is something called, let me tell you, there's a solution to all your problems. What? There is something called water, which, waves are born and waves die. Nothing can be done about it. But water is not born and water does not die. Really? Waves change, they grow and diminish, but water doesn't grow or diminish. Really? That's very nice. It's good for water, but what is it to me? He said, you are water, tattvamasi. You are that. Really? How? Look at yourself. Look deep within yourself. At the heart of yourself, you will find water. So the wave meditates and finds itself as water and realizes, I am water. And not only that, not at the deep and the heart of itself. On the surface of itself, it's also water. Within itself is also water. Below it also is water. In fact, surrounding it is water. And not only that, it begins to see that the big waves that it thought were greater than it, had the inferiority complex regarding them, they're also just water. And the little wave for which it had contempt, they're also water. And the waves which were mean to it, they're also exactly the same as this wave. Not only that, another amazing thing happens. It sees there is no boundary between itself and the next wave. So it's not that I am a wave with water. I am water, which is this wave and that wave also. And all other waves. In fact, I am the entire ocean. And as the waves go and crash into the Long Island, it's not that the wave form is lost, but I remain as water. I had an exciting time as a wave. Let's see what else happens when I am foam or surf or water vapor. Maybe I'll go up into the sky and become a cloud and rain down, come down as snow on Manhattan or something like that. So my existence is continuous. I'm fine with the changes, continuous changes of names and forms. And indeed, I am one with all. Now, instead of water, think of yourself as ocean. Ashtavakra does that in the Ashtavakra Gita. He says, Mai ananta maham bodho vishwabichi swabhavata udetu vastamayatu name vriddhi navakshatihi. In me, the endless ocean of existence. In me, the endless ocean of existence. The worlds come up as waves. Let them come up, let them subside. I neither gain anything by it, nor do I lose anything by it. I continue to be this ocean of existence. I am existence itself. So in me, the worlds, men and women and plants and animals and living things and non-living things and the stars and planets and quasars and quarks, they're all waves in the ocean of existence. They all come up. They persist, sometimes for the tiniest of, if you're a little particle, tiniest of the fractions of a second, and sometimes for millions and billions of years, if you're stars or galaxies. But they lose their form ultimately. But I all remain as existence, and I am existence. Not a part of existence. I am existence itself. The entire universe depends upon me for its own existence, because I am existence. So this is the meaning of Aham Brahmasmi. Let things turn out well. Let existence appear as prosperity. Let existence appear as long life. Let existence appear as a healthy body. Let existence appear as lots of friends and family and lots of Facebook likes and whatnot. Great. I gain nothing by it. It remains existence. And let existence appear in terrible and scary and unpleasant forms. Okay. I lose nothing by it. It's just existence. So, I am it, all of it. These are appearances. And this is what he means when existence is appearing as this universe. See, this is the teaching. Sarvataḥ pāṇi-pādaṁ tat sarvato kṣhi-śhiro-mukham. Look upon this entire universe as an ocean of existence, and you are that existence. This is Brahman. You are experiencing it right now. Not as a particular person, not as a particular place or thing or activity, then that's samsara. But as the existence of all of those, and you are at the heart of all of that, you are the existence of all of that. See, what is going on here is, Shankaracharya in his commentary on this verse, he quotes a very ancient saying, that in the tradition of Advaita Vedanta, what's going on in Advaita Vedanta, in all these teachings? Shankaracharya says, Sampradayavit, those who know the secret of this tradition, they know what's going on in this tradition, in this teaching is, it is Adhyaropa apavadabhyam nishprapancham prapanchate. This is the secret of it, the heart of it. All Vedanta is based on this. This is the source code of the teaching, the inner formula. What is this? That nishprapancham, that which is transcendent, which cannot be, it is not an existing thing, which cannot be experienced, which cannot be seen, smelled, tasted, touched, cannot be spoken about, cannot even be thought of. How do you teach that? How do you point it out? It says by the method of superimposition and desuperimposition. Vivekananda calls it by the method of hypnotization and dehypnotization. What is not easily graspable otherwise is made clear. That's what is being done here. Existence by itself, pure being, can't be shown. Cannot be shown. It's here, it's right here. It's the stuff of reality. It cannot be shown. But by showing you existing things, it is revealed. Then the existing things are dismissed. It's like, I want to make you understand what is clay. So I show you a clay pots of various shapes and sizes, clay jars and clay tumblers and clay cups, until you get the idea, you grasp what clay is. Because clay by itself, I can't show you. It will even if I show you clay itself, it will still be a lump of clay. It will have some form, some shape. I want you to understand what clay is, regardless of the shape. If I show you a lump of clay, one might think, oh, so this lump, this kind of heap is what he means. And when I make that lump of clay into a pot, you will think, oh, something different he's showing. No, it's that very lump of clay which is this pot. It's the same clay. By showing me a pot, a jar, a tumbler, a cup, and then saying it's none of these. It's not, clay is not a pot, not a tumbler, not a plate, not a jar. But the clay is the reality of the pot and the tumbler and the clay and the jar. If I want you to understand what gold is, let me show you a necklace, a golden necklace, a golden bracelet, a golden ring. You can actually see a golden ring and gold. See, I can't show you gold by itself. You say, why not? Well, it will still be a gold bar or a lump of gold or liquid gold or something like that. So, by showing us many different forms of gold, various golden ornaments, I come to the understanding of what is the reality of all these ornaments, and that is gold itself. Like water in all the waves, like gold in all the ornaments. Or more different kind of example, like the screen behind all kinds of movies, which is common to all movies. Similarly is this existence, being, which is there in and through all beings. What he's going to show is, look, all these beings, in all these thousands, millions and billions of faces and, eyes and living beings, non-living beings, what is shining forth is this existence. And this existence is you. When the teacher says to Shvetaketu, this existence is you, tat tvamasi, there he makes this tremendous claim that existence, tat sat, that existence. Tvam, chit, you the consciousness. This chit, which is you, consciousness, sat, which is existence, they're one and the same thing. Big jump I'm making here. Existence and consciousness are the same thing. When you say tat tvamasi, tat sat tvamasi, you the consciousness are that existence which is the ground of this entire universe. So, this is called, Shankaracharya says, adhyaropapavadabhyam. By the process of superimposition and desuperimposition, process of hypnosis and dehypnosis, what is being pointed out is the underlying reality, which otherwise would have been impossible to grasp. This existence is also you, not also, it is you. I'll just touch a little bit about this, say a little bit about this point and then move on. When I say you are this existence, we may have a doubt. I sort of get the idea when you say, look upon this entire universe as existence itself. Like the entire ocean is water itself. But when I say you are that existence, I say, wait a minute. I am a conscious being. And I exist. I understand I exist. But the existence of the entire universe I am, that's not so clear to me. What do you mean? I am the existence of this entire universe. I am the existence in this ocean of existence which is the universe. All of it? Am I not a little bit of this existence? After all, there is the chair, there is the man, there is the woman, and I feel existence is there. Vedanta will say, if you look closely, if you examine it closely, you will find names and forms and everything there, but there you will not find the existence. Existence actually belongs to you. You, the conscious being who is experiencing this universe, existence is centered in you. All this universe spread out, it borrows existence from you. Existence is not out there. Existence is you. Chit, consciousness is you. And this consciousness and this existence is one and the same thing. This Sat Chit. So this is what Shankaracharya wants to point out in his commentary, what Krishna is trying to say here. That sarvam āvṛitya tiṣhṭhati, pervading everything, covering everything. There is this one existence. Appearing in all these names and forms. Now these names and forms, what do these names and forms do for existence, and what does existence do for these names and forms? Existence, what does existence do for this universe? It gives it reality, it gives it existence. Without existence, this whole universe would disappear into a void. But what does this universe do for existence? What do these names and forms do for existence? It makes existence manifest, appreciable, graspable, quote-unquote experienceable, quote-unquote knowable. Without the names and forms, without all these beings, you would not be able to experience existence. And so, Gneyam, the knowability, the knowable, is Brahman. Yes, Brahman is knowable. How? In every knowledge, you're getting Brahman. In every experience, and when you see all this universe, you're experiencing Brahman. But you have to know what is meant here. Otherwise, we will take the people and the places and the activities. Are you saying this collection of all these things is Brahman? No, not at all. What we are saying is, even if this collection were entirely removed, Brahman would still exist. Brahman is not the totality of the universe. Brahman is not the inventory of the universe. You take an inventory, what all items are there in the universe, catalog it, and that is Brahman, total. No, not at all. If some of things are removed from this universe, is Brahman less? Not at all. If everything is removed from this universe, is Brahman less? Has Brahman disappeared? Not at all. But one difference will be there. If you remove all names and forms, if you remove all existing things in this universe, let's put it this way. If existing things are removed, will existence go away? That's our normal idea. If you think about existence as just a play on words, things exist. Existence does not exist. That's what we think. Then we may ask a question. This precious existence you're talking about, existence with a capital E, being with a capital B, this one you're talking about, will it still be there if you remove all existing things? If the universe is destroyed, at one time it will be destroyed. Then will existence exist by itself? Vedanta makes the claim, it will. It will. If all the waves in the ocean disappear, water will not disappear. Only thing is, in that case, if you remove all existing things in the universe, existence will not be obvious, will not be apparent. Then Krishna will not be able to say, here in 1,000 faces and eyes and ears everywhere, hands and feet everywhere, in all these forms, here is Brahman. Then Krishna will not be able to say that. But existence will be there, Brahman will be there. It's just not manifest anymore. If you go out into outer space, it looks dark, but it's full of light from the sun streaming through. When a satellite comes or a comet comes, then you see shining. Does the satellite have light of its own or the comet have light of its own? No. It's just reflecting sunlight, which exists in the so-called dark space. It's full of light. It looks black. Why? Because there is nothing to reflect that light. Similarly, all names and forms, they're all borrowing, quote-unquote, reflecting existence. And therefore, these are all ways of knowing Brahman, of knowing the ultimate reality. This is called superimposition and desuperimposition. Having shown you all the cups and plates and pots and jars, once you know what clay is, if I smash the pot, clay still exists. It's the broken pot. If after showing you all the ornaments, golden necklace and golden bracelet and golden ring and golden crown and golden whatnot, all of these if I show you, and you understand, once you understand what gold is, if I melt all the ornaments, will you say gold is gone? No. Gold is still there. As the melted ornaments, molten gold, it's there. Names and forms once you realize what Brahman is, if you dismiss the names and forms and activities, you will know Brahman is still there. It does not depend on the names and forms. It does not depend on a body. It does not even depend on a mind. Just body and mind manifests the unmanifest Brahman. Sarvam āvṛitya tiṣhṭhati. It is everywhere. Heidegger, the widest question, the deepest question, and the most profound question, existence. Sat. Ishopanishad, the first line, Ishāvāsyam idam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat. This entire universe of the moving and the unmoving is covered, is pervaded by the Lord. But by what Lord? Shankaracharya in his commentary says, Isha, by the Lord. Isha is equal to Paramatma, the Supreme Self. So far fine. Paramatma is equal to your Atma. So by you the entire universe is pervaded. How? I don't feel I am there, I'm pervading. No, you as existence, you pervade the entire universe. You as Chit, Sat Chit, you pervade there. Pervade means you are the reality which appears as this universe. Then the next verse, even more stunning. Number 14. Sarvendriya-guṇābhāsaṁ sarvendriya-guṇābhāsaṁ sarvendriya-vivarjitam sarvendriya-vivarjitam asaktaṁ sarva-bhṛich chaiva asaktaṁ sarva-bhṛich chaiva nirguṇaṁ guṇa-bhoktṛi nirguṇaṁ guṇa-bhoktṛi. It is manifest in the functions of the various sense organs, yet bereft of all sense organs, unattached, yet sustaining everything, without attributes, yet the protector of all qualities. Beautiful verse. Notice how Each term contradicts and cancels out the first earlier term. Sarvendriya-guṇābhāsaṁ, sarvendriya-vivarjitam. A question might arise. Oh, you're now saying Brahman is in all these faces, in all these bodies and minds, in all these forms, Brahman is there. So Brahman, this existence, ultimate reality, it has bodies then, it has minds then, it has eyes and ears. Answer is, it doesn't. This is the superimposition, desuperimposition. It's like showing gold. I want to show you gold. Necklace, bracelet, ring. Oh, so gold has this necklace form, and it is called a necklace, and it has to be put on your neck. Not necessarily. If you remove the necklace form and melt it down, it's still gold. But you can't call it a necklace anymore. It doesn't look like a necklace anymore, and you can't put it around your neck anymore. The name, form, and use will change. They will go away. But the reality remains. Similarly, this existence. Now it says, Sarvendriya-guṇābhāsaṁ, blazing in front of you, revealed through the activities of all senses. With your eyes, activity of the eyes, what do? You see form. Brahman is being revealed there. With your ears, what do you experience? You experience sound. Brahman is being revealed in sound. You taste, touch, smell. Brahman is being revealed in the activities of all the senses. Every time we see anything, for the enlightened one, Brahman is being revealed. For us, world is being revealed. Brahman is being revealed in every time the enlightened one sees something, hears something, smells, tastes, touches something. Brahman is being revealed in every activity. With those who are attending the Kena Upanishad class, you will immediately recall, isn't this pratibodha viditam matam? When the teacher, the master says to the student, in every bodha, in every conscious experience, Brahman is revealed. When in every experience you can ascertain, you can recognize Brahman, you can see Brahman, āvṛitatvam hi vindati, you have attained immortality. In the good and the bad, in the high and the low, in the gross and in the subtle, in waking, in dreaming, in deep sleep, only one thing is being revealed all the time. Krishna says, the unenlightened, it is like night to them. What is day? Names and forms and activities is like day to the unenlightened. And Brahman, the underlying reality, is like night to them. It's like a person who does not understand what gold is. For that person, I can see the necklace, I can see the bracelet, I can see the ring. Where is gold? Where is gold? But for the enlightened, Brahman is like the day. And what we call the world is like the night. Means it's faded into, it's not that the enlightened one doesn't see the world. The enlightened one sees the world as much as we do, and is fully effective in the world. In fact, more than we are probably. But the reality is so bright and so stunning behind the underlying reality of the world. For them, the world is like a dream. It's like sleep. Unimportant. Can fit to be dismissed. That remark by Nisargadatta Maharaj. In Mumbai one day, sometimes you see, not just Mumbai, everywhere you can see the sun and the moon at the same time in the daytime. On one horizon you can see the sun, on the other horizon you can see the moon. So somebody asked him, you're an enlightened person, are enlightened persons always aware of Brahman all the time? Are you not aware of the world? You are seeing us and everything. We are active, like us, you are active in the world. So how are you aware of Brahman? How do you experience? Is it like a concept, or is it like a mystical experience you had and you have a memory of it, or something like that? He says, I'm adding all these things. The question was simply, are enlightened persons always aware of Brahman? That was the question. I'm adding all the extra questions. His answer was dramatic. He said, look, there is the sun and there is the moon. For me, Brahman is always available like the sun in daytime. And the world is also experienced. It's like the faint moon on the horizon. For me, the world is like that. Just take that much of it. It's not that Brahman is here and the world is there and Brahman is very bright and the world is very faint. No, it's... so we get the point. what Nisargadatta Maharaj wants to say. I still remember, just by the way, mystical experiences of God, they are more real than our so-called worldly experience. I remember there was a conference in our Institute of Culture in Calcutta, Gold Park. It's a academic, artistic, intellectual activities. It's a huge institute. Those who have been there, they have seen it. So once, about 2 decades ago, there was a conference on the psychology of spiritual experience. So there were philosophers. It was on spiritual experience, basically. There were representatives of different religious orders, Hindus, Buddhists, I don't know if some Christian. There was, I think, somebody. And there were philosophers. There were scientists. And they were discussing what is spiritual experience. There were psychologists. And general tenor of this discussion was a little abstract, as if it's something very subtle, very philosophical. Then this person came to speak, a great scholar. He has passed away now, and a sadhaka, spiritual practitioner also, Govinda Gopal Mukhopadhyay. He was well known in Bengal, a stalwart person. I still remember him first reason I remember him was his booming voice. He said, microphone, I don't require it. He pushed it aside. And it carried across the room. And he said, he told us a couple of stories about the experience of God. First, Yogi Krishna Prem. I think he was a white person. He went and settled down in India, and he became a yogi who very advanced. He was closely associated with Sri Aurobindo, as far as I know. And he was a devotee of Krishna. And he had a vision of Krishna. He describes it vividly, with a blue-hued person with the peacock feather and the flute. And then I still remember in the booming voice of this Govinda Gopal Mukhopadhyay, he's saying, this, my friends, is spiritual experience, not an abstraction, and not something faint or intellectual. Very concrete, distinct, experienced more distinctly than the world that we are experiencing right now. Then the second example he gave us about the concreteness, the vividness of mystical experience. You've all heard of, many of you must have heard of Anandamayima, who was a great woman mystic in India. She passed away in the 1980s or 90s, I think. 84. You have seen her. You have seen her very closely, yes. So this scholar, Govinda Gopal Mukhopadhyay, who was also very elderly by the time he was telling us this, he started off, he said, when I was born, where I grew up, which was the erstwhile East Bengal, now the present day Bangladesh, he said, there was this lady in our neighborhood who was the bride of the house in the neighborhood, the boma in the house there. And she was very kind to all of us. We had neighborhood children. I would go and play in their house. She would bathe me, feed me. I would sleep on her lap. And I would see her quite naturally going into samadhi, experiencing these absorptions, these trances. There was quite, it came to her naturally. And then he said, I still remember this, he said, looking at all of us, he had this beady glare at looking at all of you who were discussing the spiritual experience as if it's something very abstract, very subtle, very intellectual, very conceptual. He said, and that lady, my friends, is the world knows her today as Anandamayima. So I grew up on her lap and said, my friends, spiritual experience is most vivid. Our worldly experience fades into a dream-like insubstantiality in comparison to spiritual experience. It's not an intellectual exercise. This verse I'll have to, or maybe just let me complete it. Sarvendriya-guṇābhāsaṁ. In the activities of every sense organ, is revealed brilliantly, Brahman, Sarvendriya-guṇābhāsaṁ. And yet, it's not that I'm saying Brahman has eyes and ears and nose. Sarvendriya-vivarjitam. Dismiss all the senses and the activities of the senses. Brahman, existence, consciousness, bliss remains exactly as it always was. Otherwise, what would happen is, someone might say, oh, we are having the experience of Brahman with eyes you see, with ears you hear. Well, you're just talking about me. I'm seeing with eyes, I'm hearing with ears. So are you talking about me, this guy? But then the question would be, would you still be as you are? Suppose the eyes were gone, ears were gone, nose, tongue, mind, body, everything is gone. Would you be exactly as you are? No, I don't think so. That's not how I see myself. No, but you as Brahman would remain exactly as you were. Your Brahman would remain without Sarvendriya-vivarjitam. Brahman is exactly the same without all sense organs. Without any of the sense organs or all of them. Asaktaṁ. Completely non-attached to this material universe. Sarva-bhṛich chaiva, and yet the support of this material universe. It should not be difficult to understand. Gold. Is gold stuck to the necklace or to the bracelet or to the ring? Let me ask this question. Is gold stuck to them? No. You melt the necklace and make it into a bracelet. Will it still look a little bit like a necklace? Little necklace is sticking to the gold. You say, why does this bracelet look so weird? Well, because it used to be a necklace, you see, so some of it has remained sticky. No, not at all. Gold is completely unattached to the ornaments. Brahman is completely unattached to this universe. The entire universe of names and forms can flow freely without leaving a stain on Brahman. But not the other way around. If I ask you, is the gold is not attached to the necklace, but does the necklace depend on the gold? Oh, very much so. It cannot exist without the gold. Does this material universe depend upon Brahman, upon being itself? But the question itself gives you the answer. The whole material universe depends upon Brahman as being for its very existence. All things in this universe, all sentient beings like us, we all depend upon Brahman, our real nature, for our very existence. Even God depends upon Brahman for God's existence. Brahman, we're not talking just about God here. We're talking about that reality which is experienced in this universe, as you, and as the God. Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara, this triangle. What is the underlying reality of all of them? That is Brahman, we're talking about it. All movies, the movies may stream across the movie screen. All the characters and the events and the good and the bad and the horror shows and the comedy and the laughter and the tears and the disasters, they may stream across the screen without leaving a single impact on the screen. Asaktaṁ, unattached. You are that. You are that. We feel so torn apart by life, so affected by life all the time. But you are not. Body is affected. Mind may get affected. If you realize who you are, even the mind will not get affected. Body will get affected. Asaktaṁ, and yet sarva-bhṛich chaiva, the ground, the support of the entire universe. Being the support. Look at the amazing thing. See the contradiction in these two terms. Being the support of the entire universe is completely unattached to the entire universe. Then the next two words, nirguṇaṁ guṇa-bhoktṛi, without any attribute at all. And yet the support of all attributes, or in another way, guṇa-bhoktṛi may be translated as, here it is translated as the protector of the qualities or support of all the qualities, or the experiencer of the entire universe. Bhoga, bhoktṛi in the sense of bhoga. Without any attribute at all, experiencing this universe of attributes. So this is the 14th verse. Each word and the next one is an illustration of adhyaropa apavada, superimposition, desuperimposition, hypnotization, why would you do that? For the same reason that without this we will not be able to understand and realize what Brahman is. With this, we realize what Brahman is and then live a life of absolute freedom and happiness. Because in the midst of this diversity, there is one thing only, and that you are. In the midst of this pain and pleasure, there is only one radiance. It's light, it's all light shining, and that light you are. In the midst of all the ups and downs, the birth and death and the health and the illness, you are completely unaffected. You might say, you're saying that, but it's very difficult. Yes, but there is a proof. I sometimes think, we have gone through so many lifetimes, so many tragedies, so many unthinkable events, so many deaths, death after death after death. And here we are. Nothing has been able to destroy you. Universes have disappeared. Civilizations have disappeared. All the great and the low and the high and the low, they have all gone. All bodies, events, names, forms, knowledge, everything has come and gone. You're still here, right here. Nothing can destroy you. Nothing can even affect you. And yet, on the other way around, you are the one which makes everything possible. It's because of you, the existence, the whole of this samsara seems to exist. Seems to. It doesn't. What exists is you. You are the existence of the samsara. You're not the samsara, you're the existence of the samsara. Like the gold of all the ornaments. Like that. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu. Come, we'll get the basket. You have a question? Yes. Yes.
I was thinking about limited existence versus unlimited existence.
Limited existence versus unlimited existence. Yes.
So if I were truly limited, my existence consciousness or my awareness also would be just limited to this body. Right?
Yes.
Because I am unlimited only.
I'm able to?
Experience everything, not just this body.
Yes, we seem to be... See, when we say existence and consciousness, we have no objection. Because all of us experience, I exist. Consciousness, I am conscious. But the problem is, the existence and consciousness which we experience right now, which we can appreciate or we don't have any doubt about, that's a very limited existence. In the sense that I feel my existence is limited to this body. I feel my consciousness is just this consciousness, one among many, and it's going through waking, it falls asleep, it dreams, and is consciousness affected by pain and pleasure and desire and limitation. So our experience of ourselves as existence consciousness is a limited existence consciousness. See, one thing we are sure of, I exist and I am aware. This nobody can convince me otherwise of. But this existence consciousness which I am aware of myself as is a limited one. What Vedanta shows me, that is an unlimited one. That's all. See what we did now, the entire universe is existence. Names and forms flowing through it. Like an existence like the movie screen, names and forms like the movies. Having said that, next we went where? To Chandogya Upanishad, where the teacher is telling Shvetaketu, that existence, which is the reality of the entire universe, yes, that you are, Tattvamasi. So it makes you, your own consciousness, you the existence, which seems to be limited, it makes it unlimited. It makes you the existence of the entire universe. And this is, of course, I'm speaking in general terms in a sweeping way. It can be argued out in a granular way. And can be argued out and shown and demonstrated. How am I the existence of the entire universe? How does this entire universe depend upon me as existence consciousness? How am I the existence consciousness, the limitless existence consciousness? This is the way I put Vedanta actually. I would like to summarize this way. The absolute certainty of my own existence is shown to be the infinitude of God's existence. That is Vedanta. God is infinite by definition. But the problem is, does it exist? We are not certain about it. God's existence can be doubted. It's an infinite existence, all-powerful, omniscient, whatnot, but doubtful. My existence seems to be a very limited existence, but certain. What Vedanta does is, it combines these two intuitions together. It shows you the absolutely certain existence, your own existence, which is absolutely certain, is also the limitless or infinite existence, which is God's existence. So you end up with an absolutely certain infinite existence, which I am. Problem solved? Yes. I'll come to you next.
Thank you for taking the question. First time in person here. If Brahman is reality existence, the reason we are not able to see that is the culprit the culprit is our thoughts. It's like dust on top of a mirror. If you remove the dust, you'll be able to see it. Is that the case? That is the thoughts that's not allowing us to be seeing the reality?
No. Vedanta is clear about that. If you remove the thoughts, then you'll have no experience at all. Shankaracharya says, we're in fact discussing this very thing in the Kena Upanishad commentary of Shankaracharya. He says, Nānyad dvaram asti. There is no other door to it. There is no other portal to the experience of Brahman other than our experiences. It is your seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, thinking, enjoying, suffering, understanding, remembering, forgetting, desiring, hating. These are our flashes of thoughts going on. Now, the Upanishad says, in every one of these flashes, Brahman is revealed. So, why am I not seeing it? The problem is not the flash itself. The problem is not the thought itself. The problem is ignorance. The problem is our lack. We have not been educated to see it. And Vedanta is the knowledge which removes that ignorance. Yeah.
Just a quick follow-up on that. If reality is Brahman,
yes,
then there are some moments you can be with reality. So, in other words, there is no one enlightenment. There are billion enlightenments. The moments you are with the reality, you're enlightened. And again, 2 minutes later, you may not be enlightened. Is that how it's
No, that's again at the level of thought. What's your name?
Puneet Pujara.
Puneet. So it's like, are you thinking all the time, I'm Puneet? No. When I asked you, what's your name? You immediately thought, I'm Puneet, and you told me I'm Puneet. At that moment, you recalled it. Now, would you say that the moment you thought it, you were with Puneet, and the other times you're not with Puneet? You would never say that. You see, even if I don't think I'm Puneet, I am Puneet. Even if I'm not with reality in my thoughts, if I'm not thinking about Brahman in my thoughts, the moment I have realized that I am Brahman, it's always available to me. It does not depend on thought anymore. Suppose a person is suffering from dementia. Would an enlightened person lose? So you will lose your memory. You lose the ability to have coherent thought for periods of time. Would an enlightened person be affected? The answer is yes and no. At the level of the body, yes. At the level of the memory, yes. At the level of thought, yes. The knowledge that I am Brahman is blindingly obvious to such a person. No problem at all. I have known a great Swami Shambhu Maharaj, Swami Pavananandaji. I can still recall sitting at his feet evening in Deoghar in Jharkhand in India. He's nearly 90 years old, sitting there. I was untying his shoelaces. And he looked at me. His memory was beginning to fail. Looked at me and he said, you know, I can't quite recall where I am. He's in an ashram where he has been for 60 years. He's like, I don't know where this place is. I can't quite recall where I am. However, this I know, I am in great bliss. He said, this I know, I am in great. I still remember. It does not depend on thought anymore. Yes. There's a question here. This is the last one. We won't take any more questions because we have run out of time. Tell us your name and ask the question.
Hi, Swami. My name is Arvind. I really like the gold and jewelry metaphor because I think when I first heard it, I first conceptually clicked. But where I am not able to go past is the metaphor has a flip side, which is that gold needs to be a gold something. Otherwise, if you remove every gold thing there is in the world, in what sense does it even make sense to talk about gold? Basically, Chandrakirti's chariot, like I'm wondering how one would... It seems like a reciprocal relationship, not so much...
Yes. Yeah. That is because of the limitation of the example. Gold is also a thing, is an entity with certain characteristics. But existence is not like that. You can remove all golden things. You can remove gold itself. There's no more gold in this universe. Suppose. So that can be done. Then gold doesn't exist anymore. But that's not true of existence. You can remove all, as you say, existence. The necklace exists. The ring exists. Suppose you say, I melt it down. No more ring, no more necklace. Well, I'll say gold exists. Existence continues as gold. Suppose I say, I remove all gold from this universe. Well, I will say silver exists. Existence continues as silver. Then the next question will be, I'm just quoting from Shankaracharya's commentary on the 16th verse of the 2nd chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Nasato vidyate bhava. That this discussion is going on there. Suppose I remove every existing thing in the universe. All existing things are gone. Then what happens to existence? Existence continues, except that it's not available anymore. It's not manifest anymore. It cannot be experienced anymore. It's not visible, not tangible anymore. This is what he is showing here. Where is this Brahman? You describe Brahman as nasat, nasat, neither manifest nor unmanifest, neither known nor unknown, neither this universe nor even Maya, the cause of this universe. Where is this Brahman then? I say, it is the knower, pure consciousness. Well, that's not knowable. Why call it knowable? Here it is knowable. Whatever you are knowing is Brahman. But suppose you remove all the knowable things. It can happen at the end of the universe, before the universe was created, before Big Bang, before Srishti. Nothing was there. Only God was there with Maya. No object was there. What about existence? Existence continued, except it was not manifest.
You said God was there with Maya.
Then you can say God and Maya exist. Suppose you remove, if it at all possible, to not have God or Maya also. Absolute zero. Even that is existing, but anyway. So existence continues. Sat continues. Sat, but it's no longer, as I said, it's no longer available for experience. It's no longer manifest. Yeah. Yes.
But this is an extension of what you just said.
All right. She has found a loophole, an extension of what was said. Yes.
So if you say that Brahman and Maya are always there. So when you say that Brahman and Maya are always there,
Yes.
then, and existence is always there,
Yes.
then Maya, which is the source of this creation, should always be there.
Mm-hmm.
So creation should always be there.
Yes.
It didn't come one day where there was nothing and...
Yes. And so creation proceeds from unmanifest to manifest and back into unmanifest again. It is this Maya itself. In its unmanifest form, we are calling it Maya, Abhyakta. In its manifest form, we are calling it this universe. So it cycles back and forth between unmanifest, and that's called Srishti, Shriti, Pralaya. But what Vedanta says is, none of it is real. What is real is the underlying Brahman. That is always there. And that, in fact, this always, this time and timelessness, these are all appearances in Brahman. Within time, you have Maya, which produces this entire universe, activates space and time, so the space is spread out and time flows. Then it all comes to an end. Maya remains by itself with Ishvara, with Brahman, for a timeless period. And then again this universe is created. So cycles of creation, destruction go on. But what is the reality of even Maya and time and space and this? It is existence itself. That's always there. And that's the reality on which this movie is playing. The reality, the movie can be switched off and can be played again. But in case whether it's switched off, it's the screen. If it is playing, it's the screen. It's not that the screen exists when the movie is not there, and when the movie is there, there is no screen. No. The screen is equally there in all forms. The movie is not, in fact, the other way around. The movie is never there. From the perspective of the screen, the movie itself is not there. In the sense that the characters in the movie, the events in the movie, if there's an explosion, did the screen burn up? No. If there's a flood, did the screen get a little wet? You have to wait till the next movie to let it dry out a little bit, and then we can... No. So they are at these levels of reality. At the level of transactional reality, God is there, Maya is there, and the whole cycle of creation, existence, destruction happens. But the level of ultimate reality, only Brahman, only being is there. And you are that ultimate reality.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you so much.